right, this is the after chapter discussion for 10.18E. I'm the host for today, Mr. Wiggles, and with me as co-host is Mafia Hamster, otherwise known as Eteron. And
Hey.
obviously, Eteron loves the battle hamsters,
Yes,
obviously. But with
I
that being
do.
said, let's get started with general impressions for the chapter. If you guys have any overarching thoughts, any areas you wanted to focus in on, now would be the chance to do it. And type it out in chat if you want, or ping. Edaron, do you have any general thoughts to begin us?
Oh, yes, I do. Um, at the same time, I love this chapter. 9 out of 10. Uh, it's a classic TWI. Made me almost cry and made me laugh out loud. So hard. The depressing stuff. Is obviously Erin's hardcore depression and even apparently suicidal thoughts. Uh, this character that we loved, that we started to love, and having her at her lowest at the moment is hard, and it almost made me cry because you obviously think about all the sweet moments we had with her, and now she is at a point that maybe living is something she doesn't want to do, and it's hard. But we have one of the best girls, Olvama, there to snap her out of it. And to obviously things I think that I love about this chapter, the love-hate relationship with Erin the hamster, instantly genius. I love that so much. How these both of them tease each other. Erin is about to fall down. He jumps down to catch her, the hamster, and it was even mentioned that there are gangs of mafia hamsters. And please, pirate, if you listen to this, I need a mafia hamster gang chapter. And if I get this, I can die happy. I can die a happy man. The concept of mafia hamster gangs is it's in my head all day. I love it. For the rest of the chapter, obviously many reveals with the um with Erin's new skill, but I think we're gonna talk about this in depth.
Thank you, Edaron. The battle hamsters, they're very funny, and it's very interesting to see Erin kind of like she's not in like a love-hate relationship with the beetle itself. She only dislikes the battle hamster, it seems
Yes,
like,
yes.
which is interesting. Why is it she's focusing so hard on the hamster rather than the beetle? You know, it's like, why is she so pissed off at the hamster? But otherwise, yeah, this for me was a 10 out of 10 chapter. I absolutely loved it.
Mhm.
It just felt really good to go through the emotions with Erin. Like obviously, it was a very difficult chapter. I'm sure for some people it was extremely difficult with how Erin was so focused on self harm and almost ended up killing herself because of how she neglected her health there in the middle part of the chapter. I'm sure
Mhm.
that was very difficult for some people to read about, but I thought it was done excellently, and just the whole chapter was amazing,
Mhm.
especially later on when we got, uh, once Erin got help and she came back to the pavilion and talked to Nerry, talked to Rabbiteater, talked to all of them. That was just great to see.
And
And it
to
was,
Ishkar. Oh my
yeah,
god, Ishkar is such an MVP. My goodness. I will
Ishkur was
he
great.
would come to Belarus. He would straight up go to Belarus to get her. He would do
He
it.
would. He would. And then he'd
What an
teleport home
MVP.
because he's got that teleport, you know? He just
Yeah.
teleport home, you know? But yeah, this was great. What was the last thought I had? Um Oh yeah, the gunslinger. The gunslinger. Oh god.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
god. Oh
At
god.
first, I thought it would be Tom, to be honest.
Hmm.
But
Well,
the most dangerous Earther is the Gunslinger. Which makes sense.
yeah. But it's okay. And well, it might not have been Tom because Tom, Erin probably can't get Tom on her side. You know,
That's true. Yeah. He's too
like
far gone.
I think Tom might be a little bit too far gone.
Yeah, it's true.
But anyways, those were my general impressions and Ederon's. Let's go to chat. Yes, you had a thought. Let's have you give it.
Yay! Okay, so naturally, 10 on 10 chapter. This was, I'm so happy to see, like, okay, so far even, we were getting sort of where the characters landed uh, after or how the characters were dealing with the repercussions of what happened during the solstice events and all of that. In this chapter, we are seeing proper plot progression. So that is what I absolutely loved. Overall, it was written really beautifully. I naturally love the hamster. I want hamster back at the inn. I want to see the hamster and a P-Stars dynamic. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you guys felt this, but I thought there might be a hint of Ishkir and Alvama maybe having like an attachment. I don't know. I think it's gonna be from a ship of mine from now on because I just think that pairing is so sweet and I'm manifesting it now. I want Ishkar and Alvama. They're both so diametrically opposite in their approaches to life in general. But when it comes to Erin, they're absolutely united. And that's something I absolutely love. So that I had a lot of fun with. I like the Mad Doctor. Oh, I want to see more of the Mad Doctor. And the villagers seem very nice. They it'll be fun to see how it plays out. I have a feeling I have we're gonna sort of see a very stereotypical Trump supporter type character here with the gunslinger. I don't think personally I don't think how Republicans are, but the stereotype is still funny. So yeah, I'm excited to see the gunslinger. I am excited to see his interactions with Erin. They both come from extremely opposite points of view. Them clashing is going to be fun. This person is obviously from the Jungle Tales, and we're finally seeing some Jungle Tales action coming on, and how maybe Nerry tries to subtly, change the direction of Neos's strategy with information from Erin. That's going to be really great and really fun. So, looking forward to all of that. I'm so happy with everything that was set up in this chapter.
You have a highlight?
Highlight would be. mm, 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 mm. Oh, highlight is every time Erin said poop. Oh my God, that's so funny.
All right, thank you,
Uh,
Yash. I do definitely agree that this was a great chapter. I'm kind of curious why you think the gunslinger was Jungle Tales in particular. Um,
Yeah, so we've seen Jungle Tales having guns. We've seen them embrace firearm technology. We've seen them advance with the firearm technology, but it's not from somebody who knows how to make them. Clearly, the knowledge was given to them by somebody who thinks it's okay and who is a firm believer of their Second Amendment right. So, a very NRA type person, which is what I got the feeling from this particular character, and it makes a lot of sense that he got taken up by, or he found himself with the Jungle Tales. They are protecting the Earthers, trying to get information from them. And that'll be very interesting to see.
All right, interesting thoughts. Thank you, Yash. Other thing I wanted to comment on for your reply was that the Gunslinger being like a hardcore Republican. I'm not sure about that. It seems more like he's hardcore, like into isekais and fantasy and that kind of thing.
Even
Just
an
from
edgelord.
yeah, just from like how he introduced himself to Erin. So that I think is the more prevalent character trait that's coming through right now. But we'll see in the future. We'll see where pirateaba takes them. But oh god, the gunslinger could he could be really annoying. We'll see. We'll see.
Aaron's first boyfriend.
What? What?
No, I'm
Edoran,
kidding.
what?
I'm kidding.
Wow. Wow. All right, let me read out some comments, and then Edoran, if you'd pick the first question, we'll do that
Mm-hmm.
next. Kainias says, very good chapter. Had a few problems with the previous one, but this one kept me immersed throughout, especially all the pavilion conversation and all of Erin's inner conflict. Absolutely agree with you. In terms of pavilion conversation and Erin's inner conflict, like the pavilion scenes were just amazing. It's really nice to get Erin properly using the pavilion, even just as like a beginner. She's already seeing how she can manipulate people with the pavilion, how she can spread truths around that will very certainly hurt her enemies. Like Maxie is in quite a bit of trouble now, and it's it's something that she couldn't really do before without without someone like questioning, oh, how would she know this information? But now they know for certain she's telling the truth. Samu says, good chapter, a needed insight into Erin, some in-story revelations, the plot with Tesseri and Ishkur the goat, and the other pavilion visits as well. The new Frailings resulted in some great scenes. It was very interesting to see Tesseri here because she's literally on a quest to find Erin, and she just met her. She just met Erin right there. It's like, oh, huh, interesting. Mike says, I like the chapter a lot. It's finally showed the extremes of Erin's abilities, even what her level 50 really means. For the Gunslinger, I still want him to be an Isekai plus Cowboy fan, and Erin's going to tell him, yeah, Kamehameha? That's possible if you work at it. I don't know about that. I don't know if Erin would ever say that. But thank you, Mike. Redding Quill says, we were wondering what Ishkur's level was last week, and we find out this chapter. 10 out of 10 chapter. Yeah. Ishkur's getting very close to that 40.
Mm-hmm.
Mystical Pie says, I really enjoyed Erin learning to use the pavilion and admitting her problems to herself. I also really loved all the frailing scenes, the glimpse into how an isolated society doesn't have the same prejudices as the rest of the world was a lot of fun. Excited for more. Oh yeah, the frailings are so isolated that they don't even really know who Death of Magic is. Like they barely know. And that's just fascinating. Especially because they have a
I
level
have met
50.
her.
Yeah, they have met her, and they have a level
Okay.
50 frailing just
Yeah.
wandering around. And that's just fascinating. It's a really
Mm-hmm.
cool village. Fabian says, 10 out of 10 chapter, I loved it. That being said, I don't trust Nerry and think Erin is too trusting of Nerry with her identity. Nerry has her own interests and the interests of her people as the number one priority and will sacrifice Erin's interests if it helps her people. I'm not 100%.
We will talk about
Yeah,
that. Oh, we
yeah,
are
yeah.
so gonna talk about that.
We'll definitely talk about that, but I'm not on board with that
Mm-hmm.
sentiment. Lotus says, I genuinely enjoy the fact that Erin and the entire cast as a whole is starting to explore beyond the most obvious uses of their skills. Like, Nerhavi has stated that it takes an actual skill to use skills with finesse. As far as Gunslinger, what really makes them dangerous? The gnolls already have access to all needed info about guns, how they're made, what they're made for, etc., etc. Well, that being said, if the gunslinger has in-depth knowledge of how guns work, how to manufacture them, or anything like that, he's still a very dangerous human. Like, just because gnolls have access to something doesn't mean he's not dangerous as well. Like, that just means they're
True.
both dangerous, not just one of them. Kel says, it's an Erin chapter, so
Could
it's
I
fantastic by default.
could I
But it
add
was...
something on to that?
Sure, go ahead, Cumshot.
Also as we saw with Rochelle, it's gonna take a couple decades to get good functioning guns. Right now, they're stuck at basic muskets, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of less accurate than a bow. And if the gunslinger gets a ability like the military guy to summon more guns, he's gonna be more dangerous. That's
Yeah,
all.
the skills he can get as a gunslinger is very much um it is very much something that can change how he interacts with guns, how he could potentially make guns, a lot of different things. So his class is
Even
certainly something that's important to who he is as a person.
even that, just shooting about it. Look at Erin with her perfect throw. Just how dangerous somebody with a like it's. I think that accurate throw thing that she has isn't even a special skill. Just imagine a gunslinger with like one perfect shot. You have one
Yeah.
perfect shot. It's one person dead. 100%. A headshot. You are going back to Counter-Strike Source. You aim at their foot and you get a headshot. And this can be dangerous.
Yeah. I'm actually fascinated to see what kind of gunslinger skills you can get, because like guns are obviously um, something very powerful, and so if you're just upping the power even more, it seems like it can become very strong very quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how he does in the future. Kel says, it's an Erin chapter, so it's fantastic by default, but it was really elevated by the look into Erin's psyche as she deteriorated, into how the pavilion works, bits of the GDI pouting, Olvama guilt tripping Erin, and Erin finally admitting she needs help. Yes, Erin really did not want to admit she needed help for the longest time. It's great to see that she moved through that. She got she got she got the help she needed.
Or she will get it.
Yeah. All right. General impressions are done. Let's move on to our first question.
Yes, I thought about again how we started getting the saddest part of the chapter and the question out of the way. So let's go with this question. If you
All
could
right.
read
The
it out
question
loud.
is Erin's feelings and her suicidal ideation. Thoughts? How did it make you feel, and was it done well/appropriately? So obviously this was a very big part of the chapter, and it was also probably the heaviest part of the chapter, with
Mm-hmm.
Erin intentionally um, waiving getting help for the longest time and almost dying because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Erin finally came face to face with just how much trauma she's had in the past little while, and how she probably just did not want to get help. And honestly, I thought it was done extremely well in this chapter, and how it was led up to this point with the first chapter, this volume of Erin, kind of showing her be more happy-go-lucky in a way, but then we got to look into her um, using the ghosts in the
Mm-hmm.
garden as a way of just punishing herself over and over and over. And now, it kind of came to a head in this chapter where she was extremely hurt, but she just did not want to get the help she needed. And yeah, it was a very important part of the chapter for for Erin, and just for us to see her move through that, see her um, overcome it, see her come to terms with it a little bit. And honestly, yeah, it was a very powerful part of the chapter.
I can agree wholeheartedly. The depiction of it was, again, Pirate is very accurate with depictions, what stuff like this. The the soul chapter that we had with the tips and how to overcome, how Obama overcome this. Now Erin's depression. I don't know if I don't know if I would call it depression. I mean, it probably is depression, and the depiction of it was scarily accurate from everything I have read about or talked to depressed people about, because it's something personally I cannot get my head around. I'm normally a very empathetic person, but empathetic, but depression and suicidal thoughts. I love life way too much for that, and even when I'm down, it would even never come to mind to like end it all. And like you said, we saw the signs in it chapters before, and uh, Olvama clutching to Erin, started crying. That was hard for me, and I think it was depicted beautifully. But I'm glad what other people are saying to this. Yash Ketchum?
Yeah, yeah. So I thought it was very well written. Um, I definitely did relate in on some points. Um, Especially the guilt parts, like, all of us. Okay, I don't know. Well, the guilt and like the what I related to the most was her battle with existentialism. I don't know if you guys felt like she did have that battle, but she sort of fell into this very nihilistic thought process where she started thinking that nothing means anything, because no
Mm-hmm.
matter what you do, even if you try to be the best person who causes the least amount of harm, you're still causing harm. There's no way you can exist without hurting somebody. And I don't think Erin ever put that in as many words as she did. I think she always, uh, I feel like the biggest struggle for her was coming to terms with that fact that there's never going to be a scenario where nobody is hurt. Somebody is always going to be hurt, no matter what you try to do, no matter how much you try to mitigate a situation. And they may, more likely than not, they're completely innocent. More likely than not, they didn't even deserve to be hurt. But it's like it's like the Buddhist saying that you cannot avoid suffering. Like, suffering is all there is, suffering is reality. And non-reality is when suffering ends, right? So, um, it was very interesting to see. It got very philosophical. Personally, I felt it got very philosophical, and it was seeing a character go through those struggles was quite, quite revealing about how Pirate thinks, or how Pirate is able to how she's able to discuss those thoughts through the character.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really appreciated that, because even if I cannot directly relate to depression, or suicidal thoughts, or things like that, I could relate to the existentialism part of it, where you feel guilty for simply existing, because there are so many people, so many deserving people who are much better than you even, who deserve to exist, or who don't deserve the bad things that happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I truly liked that aspect. I loved how Pirate handled it. I was expecting something darker. I'm quite happy that
I
Pirate kept it at a
Yeah,
relatively tame
yeah.
level. I was expecting something much darker. Like I was not able to read the slavery chapter at all. I tried to read it, but I could not. This was okay. This was manageable. Like the trigger warning was definitely required, but it was manageable, at least to me as the reader. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right. Before we come to Red Ink, there are some written comments.
I can read those out. Erin, thank you, by the way, Yash, for those thoughts. Um, Fabian says, I thought this part was done very well. I thought the fact that she didn't take the suicidal ideation as seriously as those around her was very true to life and realistic. Oh, absolutely. It's, that's kind of just like an aspect of that kind of ideation is just that um, you don't, the person experiencing it doesn't take it as seriously as those around them because it's just like something they're dealing with, and it seems normal to them, really. Mystical Pie says, I think her suicidal ideation was portrayed incredibly well. A kind of rot she let set into herself. You can argue letting herself deteriorate was an active choice, but in that state of mind, it's easier to just do nothing. If you believe you don't deserve to live, if you believe that the world may be better without you, it's easy to stop taking care of yourself. Depression and suicidality isn't always an active choice to end things. It's often a slow deterioration, day-to-day decisions to stop taking care of one aspect of your life or another until you are suddenly barely functional. Yeah, that's a very well put together comment, Miss Pie. And yeah, uh, it certainly it came through in how Erin was acting here. That was something she was experiencing uh, quite a lot of. Kainia says, I thought it was very in character for her. She's gone through too much and still has a good number of failings she has to work on. But I do think it is a bit strange she didn't think enough about the people around her, especially when she already kind of saw the effects of her death on them before. See, that's the whole not thinking about other people around her. That's just part of the whole depressive episode, basically. Like she probably did think about how it would affect them. She probably did, but at the same time, she thought she just kept feeling that uh, it wouldn't, even if they would be affected by it. Her she still couldn't really overcome it. That's like an integral part of all that is that she could think of those people and she could consider them, but at the same time, she can't really overcome the whole wanting to die thing. It's yeah, it's still very difficult for her.
I
So
would
yeah,
imagine it's something like a cost benefit analysis. So I was speaking to a friend of mine who'd gone through this. This was a long time ago, where she said that she did have, suicidal thoughts. And so if anybody's gone through like entrance exam preparations and stuff, they'll know that there's immense amounts of pressure and immense amounts of emotional exhaustion. And people, when they take this step, they do think about how it's going to affect the people around them. Obviously, they do, because the surrounding is also a big part of why that decision is being taken. But they'll do a cost benefit analysis. If I continue uh, cont- the way I am right now, if I continue to be that way, it's of no benefit to those around me. So it's better that I simply stop it. And when my friend explained it to me that way, in a balance sheet sort of a way, I was like, oh my God, like, is this how they think about their life? Because that's insane. Like, I don't know if anybody can relate to it, but I always imagined somebody going through these thoughts. Since I heard that, I always imagined this is what they're thinking.
yeah,
That
that's
is,
one way to interpret that, Aderon.
yeah, I just wanted to agree.
Yeah, it's certainly one way that you can wrap your mind around like that kind of uh, that kind of thought process. Like, and Erin probably was in a very similar kind of thought process here. She even if she thought even thinking about how it would affect others around her. She probably thought that it would be better for them if she just was dead at that point. Alright, Dark Time Guru says, I thought the names were very appropriate. Like, even as you face difficulties, you rise to face a new day. Dark Time Gurus, I love your puns. They are so good. So good. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing puns.
They hurt.
Kel says,
But
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. Kel says, a lot of people who go that deep into ideation recognize their death might make other people sad or grieve, but think that ultimately the people they care about will be better off without them in the long run. Erin feels she's brought death and pain to the people close to her, and a little more heartache is better than continuing to live and getting more of them killed. Yep. And Brack Giraffe says she did think about them. She remembered who followed her, who fought to save her, who died to save her, and weighed against who she was able to save now, sick, in the woods, and hunted by people she can't see a way to stop. Alright. I think that's all the comments for this right now. I'll start picking out another question. Any final thoughts on this, Edra?
Yeah, we
Wait,
have
wait.
forgotten Red Quill. We have forgotten somebody. So you
Yeah,
can pick
me.
out the
Oh,
next
sorry.
question, maybe a happier one, and in the meantime, Wet Krill.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I've struggled with these thoughts before, and I thought this was very true to form. The fact that she thought, like, how she's feeling now is how she's always going to be feeling, how she no longer has any good in her, that she's not, like, it's not worth for her to continue because she's only going to add poison to the world by living it. I thought that was very true to form. And also, I liked how she was placing Obama's interests way above her own, which is something that's also very true. If you care about someone, like, you're not going to care about yourself, but you care about someone else because that's something you could actually, like, feel. So that's all. That's what I want to say.
Yeah,
Thank
sorry
you for
for.
sharing.
Yeah, I'm sorry for forgetting about your comment, Red Ink Whale, but thank you. Kania says, I've been constantly suicidal myself for the past 2 years, and the only things that stop me are the few people around me that still need me. I suppose that was what was a bit strange for me. I'm sorry to hear about that, Kainas, but yeah, it's different for everyone, and I hope you get through that and you continue to get through that, Kainas. All right, let's move on to another question.
A happier one, I hope.
Uh, well, it's not exactly
Yeah.
happy, but it's happier. Or
Yeah,
here,
that's true.
I'll I'll add one little bit to this question too. So we do two Nerry questions at once. Um, do you think we can trust Nerry to act in Erin's best interest, or will she act in her people's interest even if it hurts Erin? Did Nerry perhaps get skills, or one of the strengthening boons? So yeah, these these questions are a bit different from one another, but let's just talk about Nerry and her presence in this chapter. Any thoughts, Edra?
Oh, do I have thoughts? Nerry, my goodness, that little lamb. Pirates did it again. I don't know how they do it, but you start off with the character you don't like. Look at Ilveris, look at Kissenver, look at even Lionette, and look what these characters turn into. And this conversation with Nerry, I am absolutely sure we were in a place where you can't lie, and Nerry just showed us how much she appreciated what Erin did and how much she is willing to give up for this quest. This, for Nerry, this is her chance to give her people what they wanted for generations and generations. She is willing to give up everything she is and she has to fulfill that. And um, if if she can help Erin, she would. I mean, she offered to sacrifice. She would, without a doubt, like sacrifice an arm or even an eye to appease anybody or to help anybody. It's a bit scary how dedicated she is, but I think we can absolutely trust Nerry, and we got a confirmation about that now.
Yeah,
Power to the
those are
man.
those are some excellent thoughts, Etheron. Uh, One thing is that while I agree with you that Nerry definitely will try and help Erin if she can, I think like the biggest question here is if Sarient Lamb interests run up against Erin's safety, what will Nerry choose? And I do think that's a very difficult question to ask right now because yeah, Nerry is definitely on Erin's side. She's definitely someone who
Mm-hmm.
will help her. But at the end of the day, Nerry is most concerned um, with
With a
making
quest.
sure, yeah, with the trials, with the quest. She's
Mm-hmm.
most concerned with her people. So I think it's fair to say that there's some question about what Neri would do in that kind of situation. But I think in the end, Neri recognizes how much Erin is uh how much trust Erin is giving her. And
Mm-hmm.
now that Erin can help, like she can understand Neri, Neri is obviously going to see her as someone who's a very important ally to the Sarians. So she'll try her best to not let uh, harm come to Erin if she can avoid it.
And even if you think about it, to have what you mean to if it's between succession to succeed her trials and Erin's safety, Nerry is 100% gonna choose the trial and the quest, and Erin would 100% be supportive of that. I think
Yeah,
because that's the person Erin is, and I think she just trusts Nerry to do her best and to. I mean, you saw how Erin reacted when she found out about the trial. Uh, about she
yeah,
when she
yeah,
rented at
yeah.
the you overgrown calculator. Um, if side note, if anybody has a good insult for the system, please write them down. I want to hear your best system insult. I just overgrown calculator. There were other good ones. If anybody wants to make a list, please do so. I loved every second of it, and I couldn't stop laughing about the rent, and it kept going. But I'm drifting apart a bit. I'm sorry. Um, yeah. Erin trusts Nerry. That's the crux of it, I think.
Yeah. Excellent thoughts, everyone. Now let's move to some chat reactions. Yes, you had some thoughts.
Yeah, I definitely think Neri is gonna do what's right for her people. Of course, Erin's gonna support that, but I don't think it would be a big factor for Erin anyways. Neri will try to do the least amount of harm you know, as least amount of harm as possible to Erin. But I think push comes shove, like if she's thrust into the trolley problem, she's gonna choose her people. I think any of us would do that too. Any of us would support our own cause. Why would we not want to be treated like people, the one person, even if it means one person gets hurt? We've seen Erin herself do that. We've seen her kill people for that. We've seen her ask other people to die for that. So I think Erin's gonna respect Neri's wishes, even if it means she's the collateral damage. And I don't think she's gonna do it in a self harm way, but it might be because she wants Nerry to take this step. So, I'm quite okay with that. But I do have an unpopular opinion. I felt like this portion of the chapter was written quite poorly. And again, this is no hate on Pirate's skills. We all know that she's capable of much more. And that's what I was expecting here because the arguments that she presented and Erin's reactions to those arguments, I mean, they're obvious, aren't they? They're sort of obvious. Like, Erin, why is she asking these questions? Like, she obviously understands the implications. And I was a little frustrated with how Nerry had to keep on defending herself because it's obvious. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this bit was a little over explained. And we could have seen more interesting, in better conversations with Nerry and Erin. So yeah.
It will
D-
probably not be the last conversation these two have.
yeah,
So,
I'm sure there will be more conversations to come for them. Though I don't necessarily agree that it's poorly done. I guess I think that's just a difference of opinions between how
No,
we
no,
view the
it
scene.
was not
So yeah.
poorly done. It was of the whole chapter, the most or the least well written part of it. Like, or the most poorly written part of the whole chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, relatively.
Yeah. Relatively. Okay. Thank you, Yash. I think I'll read out some of the comments now. Edoron, if you want to come up with the next question while I do that.
alright.
Fabian says, like I said before, I don't trust Nerry. I don't think she is a bad person, quote unquote, or non-person according to GDI. I just think she has a purpose that supersedes the interests of Erin, which is to help her people. I agree that she would do a lot to help Erin, but I don't think she would do it so at the expense of her people. Well, just like a counter to that, basically, is Erin is one of the closest people to 57 that Nerry knows, like, uh, conclusively. Erin basically told her that in the pavilion, and that's that's one person next to in the trials that could help her people. Then you have the fact that Erin can actually understand and uh, get on their side while still being a leveling being. That's an immense amount of value for the Serient lands, for any of them who might need someone to come to later on. So yes, the Nerry's desire to help her people probably does supersede her interests in Erin, but those two interests, they align very, very well because Erin is someone who can help help the Serient lands a lot, and Nerry knows that. So yeah, it's just like I think that even if the desires to help her people supersedes Erin's interests, those desires align a lot. A lot. Red Ink Quill said, "You can't lie in the Pavilion of Secrets. She said she would help." Very true. Jotham says, "I'm very interested if Erin will gain levels from Nerry in- interactions." I'm almost certain no. That really does not seem like something that Erin would. It's just not something Erin is doing. She doesn't really have control over Nerry, and even if Nerry is impersonating her, it's not like you get levels because someone impersonates you. That's not. I don't think the system works like that.
Isn't some classes gain reputation levels from reputation, or I'm just like tripping myself right now?
I guess maybe like king leader classes, maybe,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's something that she would gain levels for as like a witch or an innkeeper, really. Superbred Ninja says, if Erin stays safe for 3 levels, then Erin is part of completing the trials. Yeah. Exactly, Super Red Ninja, exactly. Missile Pie says, I do think Nerry was completely honest with what she told Erin, and I think she will help Erin when she can. If Erin's interests ever run directly opposite the Sarient Lambs, though, I'm not sure what side she will take. For example, I think she may side with Erin over the Sarients that took Kawine's hand, because she wouldn't want her people to be indebted to a god. Unrelated, but without her mask on, Nerry came off as very young and almost childlike in maturity and demeanor. It was kind of disconcerting. Huh? I did not get childlike and very young from Nerry. I got someone who was much more damaged, basically. Someone who has gone through a lot in her life and has struggled a lot. That I did not see the same childlike demeanor.
I mean,
I
the
think
first
I
thing
think desperate should be the right word. Like someone so desperate.
Yeah, she is definitely
I
desperate.
mean, one of the first things she does with a real body is kill a bunch of people in a battle. That was one of the first things she did. So that lamb has issues, and they are understandable issues. And she is calculating, and she even said she likes the name Nahavia because that's somebody who she would like to be. And I think we're just starting to see the rise of Nerry. There's gonna be more.
Yeah, Nerry she's never been able to communicate like this. And the fact that she likes Nerhavia, of all people, it should tell you a lot. It should tell you a lot. Anyways, Kel says, Nerry seemed pretty clear she believes playing this part is her best shot at helping her people, so I don't see her doing anything that would knowingly harm Erin, and I agree with Aderon that Erin will do everything she can to help the lambs. That trust will go a long way in Nerry staying on her side. Very good points, Kel. I agree. And Mike says, I trust Nerry like I trust Nears. Didn't bang a sheep. So she has my trust for now. I think she will learn from Nears in his classes before doing something major, and Nears knowing will help her regardless. All right, thank you, Mike. Brack, you
I
wanted to
think
speak.
Nears and Nerry are gonna. Oh no, never mind.
All right.
Buddy, this is getting recorded, so I'm gonna bring that up every time.
Right. I'm not so worried about a conflict of interest. I'm more worried about a misunderstanding. Like Nerry comes across as really combative, kind of desperate, ready to throw hands and sacrifice herself for the cause, even if she doesn't really understand what Erin wants right now. That reads kind of desperate, and as long as Nerry believes that Erin would do anything to help a friend, nothing Nerry does would be a betrayal, at least in her eyes. And like, I don't know how far she would be willing to take that to help her people.
Good point.
Yeah. Thank you, Brack. I think that's it for this question. Let's move on to the next question.
All right.
If you have it ready.
Yes. Before I post this one, there is somewhere I don't know if anybody is old enough to have had the wonderful opportunity to survive Windows Vista, but there is somewhere a System in Vista joke, but I can't find it right now because Windows Vista was terrible.
Oh, yo, I survived that shit. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there is somewhere is a System in Windows Vista joke. That's the question. Oops.
Edra?
Yeah. Hello? Didn't I post the question?
No.
Oh, I did not.
I thought we were about to discuss Windows Vista.
No. All right. So the next question is: Rabbiteater is being hunted by jungle tails and more. What is next for him? This is a bit of speculation here. I really, really, really hope we get a Rabbiteater chapter soon. Rabbiteater is
Mm-hmm.
probably my favorite goblin right now, with Rags being a close second. I just absolutely love seeing from Rabbiteater, and the fact that he's on the same continent as Erin means a lot too. So I would love to see him, and it was great seeing him in the pavilion. But it's very worrying that he's being hunted down, and I just want to update on him. But yeah, what's next for him is really hard for me to say. It's like uh, I assume they're going to meet up with some friendly people and on Belarus at some point, because right now it sounds like they're just with Calenfur's people still. So that seems pretty dicey right now. Right? I really hope he's okay. I really hope he's okay. Forever and ever.
I think they're gonna meet the other goblins on Belarus and maybe away from for the other Calenfarians to meet other goblins and again to show them that goblins are a people and not just a monster. And yeah, I think we are gonna get we have seen hints, not hints. We have seen two other goblins already on Belarus, and we know that there's a tribe somewhere, and the goblin side of it from Belarus, I think we're gonna see it through Rabbiteater, and I just want to know what that boon is doing right now. Never mind. I'm jumping. I'm jumping in thoughts. Yeah, that's what my opinion. That's what I think. We'll see other goblins.
Yeah,
What's
it
next
would
for
be
him?
really fascinating to see the Goblin Lord there, um, and Rabbiteater just meeting them, especially because there's still that question of whether or not Rabbiteater is a Goblin Lord himself, and if he meets those super advanced goblins in Belarus, then
What?
he
What?
would learn.
What do you mean? He's a
There,
goblin
there's
lord.
a theory, Erin, about how he was seeing a bunch of goblins on Belarus, like he could see them at the end of the epilogue when they were
Yes.
heading towards there. There's a theory that's because he's a goblin lord now, basically. So we'll see if that's true or not.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah,
That's. I mean, even before Rags.
yeah, even before Rags.
All
All
right.
right. Yeah, let's move on to some of the people who want to speak. Yash, how about you go first?
Yeah, so um, I don't know if you guys caught it, but there was this one throwaway sentence to Ulvama where the Fairlings they were like, "Why is she green?" So I think to them, I think they've only seen cave goblins, and cave goblins obviously, I don't know, it's pretty easy to make that jump from cave goblin to goblins of the Labyrinth of Souls. So I think the village is somewhere close to the Labyrinth of Souls. If they are indeed being chased by jungle tales, which I think they are, we might just have Erin go on a rescue mission to get them, and we might see this entire group go into the Labyrinth of Souls because we do have the perfect people for it. We have Seraphel who can see ghosts. We have we have the champion of goblins who, and it's entirely possible that the goblins of Valeros they have taken refuge in in the Labyrinth of Souls.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting that to happen very soon. I'm also expecting Nerry to find or conceal. Uh, if she finds, then she's probably going to conceal, but she's probably going to use this rescue mission to urge um, urge Neos to mount an attack on Jungle Tales. And yeah, so the goblins, the Labyrinth of Souls, Neos, it's all going to be connected. We also have Erin learning Goblin. So clearly, clearly it's building up to something. So yes, there's going to be a lot of goblin interaction. As for Rabbiteater being a goblin lord, I don't think that's happened yet. I think he's very close to being that, but I do think his level has changed. Maybe he's no longer the champion, but he is something more meaningful to goblins because they did see him on TV and they did see Erin going to war for him. So he might be more than a champion. He might be like an icon or something, or a symbol of hope.
Interesting.
But he's more than a lord. He's not just like lord seems very perfunctory to describe what he is to the goblin people.
I'm not really sure. I mean, being a goblin lord without being surrounded by goblin for like a very long time, he didn't get he has no interactions with goblins, no a goblin lord without a tribe or without multiple tribes. I'm not sure if I'm on
Well,
board with the goblin lord idea, to be honest.
we'll see. We'll see.
Hmm.
We'll
It's not
see, we'll see.
confirmed, obviously.
Yeah, it's a theory, so
Yeah.
He might be like a beacon, like a goblin beacon or something like that. Some class adjacent to that. More than a
Yeah.
champion, but less than a lord.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways this can go, especially because there are apparently some goblin evolutions besides just what's it called, the more.
Femorelian.
Yeah, there's goblin
Pomerelian.
evolutions.
Pomerelian.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's goblin evolutions besides just those. So he could be on a different path, and that could be part of what it means to be a different goblin for him.
hmm.
But yeah,
Absolutely. But
I
yeah,
am.
jungle beings are involved. I'm excited to see that. And Kel brought up this point that the Balerosian goblins are quite dark. Um, it might just be, yeah, so they might be beach goblins, or they might be,
Beach
yeah.
goblins.
Beach goblins, yeah.
Bro, she is really cooking this area. I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah,
Please keep continue.
yeah, Jotham. Now let's hear from you. Actually, you're up next.
If everybody remember correctly, the eyes of Belarus is, I believe, the like eyes of Naga's eyes. They're literally like one of the eyes that is literally heading to, I believe, Belarus right now. Like in the sorry, in the last volume, right? Once when the ice got stolen, I was like,
hmm.
now Erin is in the Belarus. Our like Rabbiteater is here. I think we may be getting a pretty big blow up right now. We may be building up to pretty big blow up. Like all kind of shit is happening, and like also like they are fighting with each other. I'm really excited. Like if they're gonna build up from the, like if they're gonna involve into that plot, like the Eyes of Belarus plot. I just wanna see if Rabbit Eater is involved in it because I really love his like reactions, how he does things. So I'm really excited. Like if they're gonna involve more with that stuff, like the Eyes of Belarus shenanigans. I'm really hoping. But Rabbit is a fucking crazy guy though. Like his and Serapel like interaction, like between every five, I always loved it.
Yeah.
But let's see what they cook up.
I miss Alter Steel.
All right, thank you, Jotham. Let's read some of the comments. Kel says, "Rabbit snotting all over Erin is just peak Rabbit Eater." Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Rabbit Eater is a big crybaby. Mike says, "I'm hoping Rabbit Eater meets either the goblins or the beastkin tribes. I've been dying for a Rabbit Eater chapter, but it seems like we could go to him at any point, just like the Horns and Fiddlehead. I don't think there's anyone else but Lacan to check in on that is left. Debatable. I mean, there are some other people, but let's not go into that." Sir Super Bread Ninja says, "We got confirmation that Pasai is Lord. Does that mean the one with the bell's name is Canadith?" Wasn't that his name given? Hold on. Let me look.
I'm
One
not
second.
sure.
Let me look.
I'm bad with names.
Yeah, but yeah, his name was literally Canadath Pasai, so Lord Canadath, which I'm sure is one of the Goblin Lords, one of the old Goblin Lords that Ovama was mentioning earlier in the chapter, and that he was he's the Goblin Lord for Belarus. I'm sure that's him. Anyways, Super Red Ninja says, important point for the lights. Rabbit sees, Bad Arrow sees them too. No, I'm pretty sure Bad Arrow explicitly did not see the lights. That's why he was confused about what Rabbiteater was talking about in that chapter. Mystical Pie says, I also love Rabbiteater and Seraphil. I'm looking forward to seeing how they will deal with all the Tyrandran randoms they have with them. Sorry, lost where I was. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do with all the Tyrantran randoms they have with them. Honestly, have no idea where their plotline is gonna go, but I'm hoping for interaction with that Goblin Lord Nerry met at the beginning of the volume. I feel like Ovama brought up the 5 major Goblin Lords on each continent, and I feel like him and Battle meeting the one on Belarus would make sense with their Goblin Lord plotline. Personally, I think Rabbiteater is on track to be king, and that's why he spoke in gold and why Great Ath was so shocked. I'm not on board with the king thing, but yeah, I definitely agree with the that being the Goblin Lord that we saw, and I really do hope they'll meet. Super Bread Ninja says, important note for the goblin colors. The goblins Nerry meets are very dark green, close to black. One thing I felt was important that I haven't seen mentioned is that Erin was told the answers lie in Belarus while in the Deadlands. All the answers lie in Belarus. I feel it, but you are marked, Erin Solstice. They're waiting for you. Petty things. I will go any soul to find what we must do. That's an interesting point, Super Red Ninja. Super Red Ninja brings up a quote from 8.79 where Bad Arrow was saying pretty lights, and later on in that same scene, Super Red Ninja, the Rabbiteater says, yeah, so many. I never knew there could be this many. And Bad Arrow glanced at him, then nodded hesitantly, which I took for Bad Arrow not knowing what exactly Rabbiteater was talking about there. So I don't think Bad Arrow saw the same lights that Rabbiteater was talking about. Anyways, I think we covered a lot of the chapter. Actually, let's do one more question. Let's do one more question since this is probably on everyone's mind, and I want to see what people have to say about it, and then we'll close out the discussion. So, last question of the day: will the Gunslinger be a major character that Erin interacts with moving forward, and why do you think pirateaba is introducing them now? So this seems like it is going to be a major plot in my mind for Erin moving forward, because it was specifically someone that Erin finds who is the most important person, most dangerous person, I should say, that she can convince to be on her side. So it's like, why would she ask that question if she wasn't planning on interacting with this person? So in the future, I do think this is going to be a major plot point, but I'm kind of wondering why it's a major plot point right now. Why, what exactly is the Gunslinger going to provide us in Belarus? What kind of viewpoint will he give us here? And I'm very interested in what people think. What about you, Edoran?
First of all, I'm disappointed you didn't took the hamster question, but that's okay, Mr. Wiggles. That's okay. You didn't took the question. But to the Gunslinger, I also think it's gonna be a very important character in the future, and maybe even a new. I think is just now introducing us. I would even go so far that this could be I don't want to say a new main character, but at some point I think it's gonna be a major character with multiple POV arcs, because that's what we're lacking right now is all the all the other Earthers are kind of united and together, and I think the ranger is alone, or did I read that correctly? Where is maybe I misread that. Where is the ranger right now? Wiggles?
Say that again? Sorry.
Where's the
Where's the
ranger
ranger?
right? Yes,
Isn't she
right
in
now.
Tarandria, or she's either in Tarandria or Israel? I'm pretty sure.
But are they? I'm not really sure if we know. Are they connected to other Earthers right now, or are they on their own? Because that's it's forgot about it. I think it's gonna be a very important character for the future. Just
Wait, were
rambling
you
on at this
talking
point.
about the gunslinger or a ranger?
Yes.
Oh, the
The ranger,
gunslinger?
the character.
Gunslinger or ranger? They're two different things.
It's
As
true.
well.
Not for me, but that's true.
All
I'm
right.
talking about the character who visited Erin in the pavilion.
The gunslinger. Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's on Belarus. Like that'd make the most sense, honestly. If he's going to interact with Erin, I think he's on Belarus. But I don't think there was any hints or actual answers to where he is.
All right.
Anyways, thank you, Edoran. Let's move on to Yesh. You had some thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think, I think I've made my thoughts pretty clear actually. I think the gunslinger is related to the Jungle Tales. If we look at the wording, I don't remember the exact wording that Erin used, but it was something like get her a powerful earther who is willing to listen. So I'm willing to bet he's somebody who has a lot of levels already. Or if he might not be on Erin's level. I 100% doubt anybody is on Erin's level, but I think he is well over level 30. And it might come from him teaching people how to use guns. It might come from him developing guns or learning to use them in interesting ways in this particular situation that he's found himself in a different world with full of mythical creatures.
Hello?
And hello,
Oh,
am I audible?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yesh, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, so I think he's definitely on Baleros. He's going to be an important character, but I did not get good vibes from him. I sort of got maybe those arrogant kids in the Blighted Kingdom who, or even Leon, people who think this is a video game, or I don't know if you guys are aware of this very particular brand of video gamers, but they tend to be very ultra right wing. I don't know why I'm bringing politics into this, but guns automatically takes me to politics. But
Bro, you literally just skipped on a landmine.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a very specific kind of people that I'm talking about here, and he gave me that vibe. And unfortunately, I had the misfortune of interacting with some such people very recently, and um, yeah, like I got a very brattish, not taking things very seriously vibe from this person who got powerful by accident and sheer luck. And yeah, like he's gonna be an important character. I don't think we're gonna get any POV chapters because I don't want to be, from the vibes that I got. I know I'm making a lot of judgments here, but from the vibes that I got, I don't think we'll be seeing any POV chapters. I think he'll be treated as somewhat of a negative, in a negative role. Somebody who is a proponent of guns, somebody who does not take this world very seriously or does not take the lives very seriously. And yeah, Ning, I want to know what's gonna happen, but I'm also very, I don't know, I'm very tired of, yeah, very tired of these kind of people. But yeah.
All right, thank you, Yash. I do think the Gunslinger, at the end of the day, he's going to be a polarizing character for sure. Like, I can see, I can see definite ways where pirateaba can make him likable to a lot of people, but I think the way he's portrayed right now is going to make him much more polarizing than otherwise. And so we'll see if it's more like a political polarizing or just him being way too in love with fantasy stories and isekai and all that, and that makes him polarizing.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. Mystical Pie says, not gonna lie, he seems like he's gonna be super annoying, but I think we will be seeing more of him. I got the exact same vibes as Yash. And Brack says, nope, has a big red shirt on in my mind. Sounds way too big for his britches. We already have gun person. This guy is a backup because she was too much fun. Thank you, Brack. Fabian says, yes, I think the gunslinger will be a major character in the future, and I believe there's going to be a fun relationship between him and Erin, in which Erin is very off put by the gunslinger but keeps them close because she needs them and sees the need for such a person. They will be Erin's Luca Brasi. Yeah. That's
Aaron's what?
a Luca Brasi. I have no idea who that is, but um it's from Godfather apparently, and I'm showing that I have not seen Godfather. That's fine though. That's fine. I don't care about Godfather. Anyways, thank you, Fabian. Mike says, I think there's a lot of movement with the gunslinger depending where he is and how he acts as a character. They have the ability of plausible deniability. Gundams are gunslingers, ergo we are one more step towards Mecha Aaron. I don't know about that. And the gunslinger could be also extremely helpful in the sense that Aaron can influence his view of the world from basically the start and has a method of communication that is feasibly untappable and undetectable. Kel says, gives me a more typical isekai protagonist vibe, sees himself as a hero of his own story kind of thing. He'll learn or he won't, that will probably be the deciding factor on how he is seen. Oh yeah, for sure. We don't know much about him right now, so we'll see in the future what happens. But
Yeah.
Yash says, okay, I found the perfect example. Have you seen Knives Out? You remember that annoying teenage kid? He gives me those vibes. I have in fact seen Knives Out, and I
He's,
hope he's not as bad as that kid.
he literally just spoiled it for us. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
cry in the closet.
All right, Fabian says Luca Brasi was the Godfather's dirty work guy. I don't think Aaron will have someone like that, but we'll see. We'll see.
She does her own dirty work.
Yeah. Jotham says, love this. I 100% support this theory in regards to Kel's comment. All right. I think that's good for this discussion. Do you have any ending thoughts, Ederon?
No. Um. Maybe off topic, more hamster talk.
Okay.
I want more
All right.
hamster. That's my last comment for this after
All right.
chapter discussion.
You heard it here first, pirateaba. Ederon wants more hamsters, more battle hamsters. Give us more. Give us all of them. And last comment, Tattlelord says he's going to be the guy Erin sends to sabotage all non-in-gun development. That would be interesting, but I really, really doubt it, Tattlelord. Anyways, that's going to be it for this chapter discussion. I hope you guys all had fun.